We are live. Welcome to episode 3. You guys made it to 3 episodes. Yay! Of Plot Hunters. Okay.
Live!
Yeah.
Hells yeah. That shouldn't be impressive, but somehow.
Alright, so a little summary of last week's episode. Previously on Plot Hunters, the party found themselves trapped in a haunted house, having been lured in by two children, Rose and Thorn, who begged them to kill the monster in their basement. The party eventually discovered that the children were ghosts who had starved to death after their parents locked them in their room in the attic. Thorn took possession of Varen, but was intimidated into leaving by Mira and all her Aasimar glory. Then Rose revealed a secret door in the attic that led to the basement and asked the party to lay her and her brother to rest. The party proceeded to stuff the skeletons of the children into their packs and descended the secret staircase into the basement. There they discovered a dungeon with evidence of some sort of cult activity and heard mysterious chanting repeating the phrase, "He is the ancient, he is the land." They also discovered crypts of the Durst family, the owners of the house, and were able to lay the children to rest by placing their bones in their coffins and sealing off their crypts. As the party continued exploring the dungeon, delving ever deeper into the earth, the chanting grew louder until they came upon a wide chamber with a hexagonal dais and a blood-stained altar. When they entered the room, 13 shadowy apparitions appeared and began to chant, "One must die." The party attempted to escape the room, angering the apparitions, who then summoned forth Lorgoth the Decayer, a shambling mound, to attack them. After a fierce battle, the party defeated the shambling mound, and that is where we begin today's session. So you guys are there with the remains of this pile of trash, essentially. And as soon as you kill this creature, the entire house starts to groan. And it feels like there's a rumbling. And you see the walls kind of shake a little bit.
We gotta leave.
Yeah, we gotta get out of
We
the
gotta
house.
get out. Yep. Bye.
Alright, you guys are going to head out back the way you came?
Yeah.
Okay.
Secret entrance in that room might lead out faster.
I mean, there was
Yeah.
the thing.
That's
You
true.
know.
I feel like if we all kind of
Yeah,
work
you did.
try
Yeah.
together, we could get it open.
You're going to try open the portcullis again?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
roll for that.
Okay, go ahead. Roll a strength check on that.
That is a 12.
12. That does not do it.
Cool.
It's still just jammed there in the wall, the actual wheel.
I'll roll to help.
Okay.
That's not great. That's a 9.
Oh no. Yeah, that thing's not gonna move. Listen, you will probably have to go back through the secret door that you guys
Yeah.
came in from.
Okay, then let's try to figure out, see if we can remember our way out of here.
Okay.
Oh god.
Make an intelligence check.
There's
Whoever
a good
wants to.
idea. Alright.
Ah, fuck, no. I'm dumb as shit, apparently.
That's a natural 20.
Who got that
Oh, there
20?
you go.
Nice.
First roll is now a 20.
Okay. Just the extremes, aren't you?
Yeah, I
You
guess
do
so.
recall there was one room where I believe one of you discovered that there was a hatch that led back up into the den that had like the wolves' heads that was on the first floor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the... Was that the... No, I didn't open that. I opened the office.
No,
It was not
yeah.
the same as the office, right?
No, it was it was like it's a den.
Okay.
Yeah, had the
Well-
fireplace and had all like the stuffed creatures in it.
Let's go to that.
Okay, so you are able to retrace your steps to that, and as you're walking through this dungeon, the house continues to groan. It continues, the walls continue to tremble, and you kind of worried that this house is going to come down on you at some point, but you do manage to make your way to the secret hatch and up back into the first floor den. And let me find my maps. You were back in that area. You entered to the den, and it looks as if everything has suddenly aged. There is, before this first floor, what looked pretty pristine. There was no dust or anything. Everything looks weathered. It looks the stuffed wolves look like they're about to fall apart. The walls themselves look like they are crumbling, and the wallpaper is just like peeling and just curling, and the whole place looks like it's about to fall apart. You continue through this room?
We gotta.
Oh. Yeah.
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 Can I look
okay.
around real quick?
Really?
Look around the den? Yeah, go ahead.
Is that what was that? Investigation?
Yeah.
14.
14. You don't really see anything that you didn't see before. Other than that, it's mostly just a basic den. It has a couple stuffed wolves, but you do notice that the door to the den has now been replaced by a slashing scythe blade that is swinging in front of the door.
Hey guys, we gotta go.
Situation.
Yes.
Like now.
So if you are going to exit out the door, because that's the only way out, everybody needs to make a dexterity acrobatics check.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Is it just like at the door, or is it like the whole wall?
it's the door.
They said it's an acrobatics check, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Ooh.
14.
19.
I
11.
got 21.
11. Why do I have the worst? Fine.
All right.
I'm a monk.
Let's see. Everybody who failed takes 2d10 slashing damage
No, thank
from
you.
the blades,
How hurt are you?
which is
Oh,
going
I-
to be that's 16 points of damage if you failed.
Oh
Who
my.
failed?
Hi. Wait. Wait, who
Varen,
did fail? Okay.
Varen, and who was the other person who rolled under 15?
Oh, that was me.
Okay, so you both take 16 points of slashing damage. You do get to the other side, but you are hurt bad.
I'm down.
You are down.
I'm
Oh,
down.
shit.
Fuck.
I'm at 1 hit point.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
No! Wait, does anyone have potions left? No.
No one has anything.
So you guys are currently piled in the middle of the main foyer. When you first came in, you know that there's just another hall and the front door, but you do have one player down and the other person hurting really bad right now. So what are you gonna do?
Do we see another door?
You do. There are the double doors that you came in through, and they also have slashing blades.
God.
my
And so do all the
We're
other
gonna
doors
die.
that,
Well, I-
that lead to the other rooms.
What
Oh
are
my
the
God.
walls made out of? Can we try to kick down the wall?
Is there a window?
A window.
Not in the current room that you're in. You just have the fireplace. There are the walls. They're regular walls, but they're crumbling.
Damn.
Wait, is the fireplace lit?
The fireplace is not lit.
And every other door has the freaking little.
Has the slashing blades in front of it. Yep.
Is there anything heavy, that I could shove into the doorway to
Not in the
Ooh.
room that you're in. There's the furniture in the room that you came from, but you'd have to go back through the blades to get there.
Ugh.
I'll do it. I'm a rogue. I'm not hurt. I'll help you guys.
You're
Okay,
able to get in, but what about pushing the furniture?
Shit, yeah. Because then even if I push it, I would still have to
Roll strength, or I mean, do you want me to go in with you? And try
How
to-
hurt are you?
Uh,
I'm so
No,
sorry.
I'm fine.
You're fine.
I'm
Okay.
1 hit point down. No, actually,
Yeah.
we're fine. They're
Okay.
not.
Stay alive, you two. Yeah, let's go. Let's
Okay.
try and grab
Let's roll to
something.
go in the room again. Wait.
Yeah.
Is there a room that has more furniture or a window that we can see through the slashing blades?
Ooh.
You can see that across the way was the not banquet hall, the dining room. There you go. And that has the table and the chairs, but that also has the slashing blade going in front of the door,
Does
or
it
where the
have
door
any
used to
windows?
be. There are windows on the other side, on the far wall of that dining room.
Can I carry someone through the slashing blade?
You are going to have to make an acrobatics check with the disadvantage if you're going to try and carry someone through the slashing blades.
Okay, so Okay,
Oh my god.
let's go to the dining room. And
Okay.
Nate are gonna go to the dining room.
At this point, the
Try
house
to-
rumbles again, and more stuff starts falling down the walls, and the walls look like they're about to like fall apart.
Oh my.
I don't want to
Wait,
be
wait.
responsible for killing someone. Okay, so I'm going to jump through the dining room. Okay?
You're gonna make an acrobatics check.
Yeah.
Did everyone use their potions?
Pretty much, I think.
Oh wait, I actually.
I know
Everybody, I
I
believe,
used
has
mine.
one.
Because I know I gave someone my potion.
You gave me your potion after I got
Yeah.
engulfed.
I do have a potion of healing.
It's
That's actually a good idea.
16.
I'm gonna drink my potion real quick,
Okay.
so I
That was
don't.
15?
Yeah.
Do I need to do death saves?
I would say at this point, yeah, you should probably at least make one,
Cool.
unless
That's
someone wants to stabilize you.
Did I
Bucket
go
list.
to the dining room?
Who's gonna stabilize what?
I'll stabilize.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wow,
Did I
the
make it
audio
to
went
the
up.
dining room?
Wow, I heal
What is-
5 hit points.
What is wrong with the audio? You guys hear that? You hear enough? You sound okay? I think your
okay.
audio might be going out. Does anybody else hear Jen's audio sound weird?
It sounds normal now.
Yeah, sounds fine to me.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
then it's just me then. I'm
Okay.
hearing weird stuff. As long as it sounds okay to you guys.
Did I make it through to the dining room?
You rolled a 16?
Yes.
Yeah, you made it through fine.
Okay. Can I grab a table and like shove it through the door with a slashing blade?
You can try to shove it. It's gonna get basically lodged in the door. It will stop the blade, but there's not much room to pass through it.
Like they can't climb on top of the.
You can't climb on top of it. You might be able to squeeze under the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So you managed to kind of jam the blade with the table in the doorway.
Yeah.
And there's a little gap underneath the table for you guys to pass through the legs.
What kind of roll is it?
You don't have to roll to pass through the actual table legs because they're just there.
But like to shove, do I have to roll to shove the table? Or
No, you get it in there fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it stop the blade?
Yes.
Do we have room to go underneath it?
You can go underneath it. Yeah, single file.
Okay. Okay. Everyone, get in the room.
Okay,
There's
first
a
of all,
window.
Alright.
is Cruz still down? Did anyone stabilize Cruz?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What did you do? Did you do a potion or did you use medicine check or a
Oh,
healing
medicine
kit?
check. That's right. Let's try a medicine check. Nope.
Okay.
It's a 7.
Okay,
I tried.
let me help because
Yep.
We're
you
gonna
haven't-
start this camp like.
Do you
this
have? Don't you have like an Asimar ability or something like that, or did you already use that?
I
I
already
think she used it.
Oh, you
earlier.
already used it. Okay.
Yeah.
All I got is like 30 fortunes. That's all I have.
I got you.
But so I rolled a 6. So
So no. So Cruz is still bleeding out.
Okay. Everybody, just shove them under the dining. Under the dining.
hurry it.
Shove big boy under the table.
Like, once they shove Cruz under the table, I'm gonna do a medicine check.
Okay, so they're shoving Cruz through, just dragging,
Okay.
Let me
Just
grease
leaving
the
a-
ground with my blood.
leaving
Okay.
a bloody streak.
I
Yes.
got a 19.
You got a 19? Okay. So you
Okay.
do stabilize. You are
Okay.
still unconscious, but you are not bleeding out.
I'll
Okay.
carry you.
Okay. Oh god.
Okay, so me and Cruz are in the dining room. Everybody else has to get in. There's a window. We gotta get out.
Okay.
All right.
Alright, so everybody moves into the dining room.
Yes.
Okay, there are 3 windows that are covered with the really heavy velvet drapes
Okay.
on the far side of the
I
table.
grabbed them.
How big are the windows? Can we like go through them?
You can try make a strength check to bust the window. Are you gonna bust the window with what? Your weapon?
Can I
or-
open it, or is it just doesn't open?
They don't really open. They're not.
Okay,
Really,
I'll bust it with my
they're
great
like
axe.
stained glass. They're
All right, Jasmine Sullivan.
Go ahead and make an attack.
That is going to be that's gonna be 19.
19.
Wait, sorry, 17.
17? Okay, you do bust that window just fine. It collapses in a shower of multicolored glass, and you have a way outside.
Okay, and I grab Cruz and then wait, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, be careful.
Fine.
There is broken glass kind of all around the edges of the window, so you'll have to be careful.
Okay,
Take
so
your shirt and
I know.
clear the
Yeah.
way.
Oh yeah, like I'm gonna grab the drapes and like pull them down.
yeah, put
Okay.
them like around the.
Okay, so you just roll them up and just kind of make a little padded area around the
Yeah.
glass. Okay.
So I'm gonna take Cruz and kind of like wait. What's outside? Are we on the first floor?
You are on the first floor. Yes.
So it's just like 2 feet
you-
drop.
yeah. It's just it's an easy.
Okay, I'm
enough
gonna
hop.
like slide.
Let me jump out first, just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did 11.
You made what?
I made an 11.
11 acrobatics. Yeah, you're
Go
fine.
outside.
Oh wait. 14.
Okay. Yeah, you're fine. You're able to
Okay.
just vault over. It's not that hard. It's a window.
Once
Okay.
once Mara's outside, I'm gonna push Cruz outside.
Okay. You guys managed to get Cruz outside. You're just kind of hanging out on the grass. You do
Yeah.
notice when you're outside that before the fog had completely like engulfed the house, the fog is dissipated, and you can now see the other buildings again.
Oh.
Cool. We just
Okay.
have to kill this bitch. Okay. So I'm gonna go outside. Do I have to roll for that, or do I just go outside?
Roll an acrobatics to see if you
Yeah.
if you do. Okay.
15.
15. Yeah, you're able to vault over the edge of
Oh
the
my
window.
god.
Mara, do you need help to go outside?
I rolled an 8.
You rolled an 8.
I'm
you
a monk, guys.
You managed to get outside, but you do kind of trip up a little bit and scramble through the window. But you're fine. It's not
Okay.
I'm a monk.
that hard. You're not feeling very confident about your monk.
Yeah.
All right, so you are all outside, huffing and puffing, laying on the grass. You have an unconscious Goliath. What are you gonna do? You got the house is surrounded by it's a iron gate, but you do or the iron fence, and you do recall that there's the gate up front, which theoretically should still be open.
Okay, we go out that
so-
gate because we need to like.
Okay, who's carrying Cruz? Because it's gonna take probably 2 of you.
I'll carry Cruz. I'll be one.
I'll help.
Okay, so between the 2 of you, you're hauling Cruz around.
Let's
Bless you.
And you do make it to the front of the house. The gate is still open, and you are able to exit back out to the street.
It's looking around.
Yeah.
Is this entire city dead? Like,
Um,
is it a little ghost town, or like, are there still running businesses?
Make a perception check.
Yeah, that's not that great. 4, 7, 11.
11. From what you can tell, I mean, all the buildings look pretty run down. You don't really see a lot from where you are. You're still at just the front of this town. Like you've just entered, and you're at like the very first like side street. So I mean, it's possible there could be life in other parts of the town, but you'd have to do a little traveling.
Okay, well, we need to find a quick place to rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
But we
least,
could leave the town first, maybe.
yeah, we'll have an unconscious. We can have an unconscious Goliath.
Oh, hell. That's
So
right.
even if it's like a corner for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, let's short rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do
Like,
you
is
want
there
to
like
go?
a safe-ish alleyway or like an old round-down like bar or something that we can
Yeah.
break into?
You just see a couple houses around you. I mean, there might be a couple abandoned houses. Most of them are boarded up, but or you can rest in the middle of the street, however you want to do it.
You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with resting in the middle of the street.
I'll rest
Seems
in the middle of the street.
pretty
Okay.
dead.
I'm
Okay.
unconscious.
I'm terrified of someone being like, or because like the werewolves too. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know,
we're
man.
gonna
Oh!
we're not gonna sleep. We're just like sitting down doing nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're just taking a
'cause
breather.
I remember that they said, like when we asked the kids like what direction was the bar so they can go to it, they said it was like literally like
Couple
around the
blocks
corner.
down. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can pick that out. I mean, I'm used to sleeping on the streets. So.
So do you want to take a short rest first and let Cruz regain consciousness?
Yeah,
Or do you want to go to the bar?
Yeah,
let's
I
take
feel
a
like
short rest.
yeah,
Take a short rest. Okay.
out for 30 minutes.
Okay. So you guys are just kind of sitting down in the middle of the street in front of this creepy house. You do notice that the house, despite the fact that it looked like it was falling apart from the inside, from the outside, it looks fine. It looks completely normal. You guys can go ahead and use some of your hit dice, Cruz. You do regain consciousness, but so you can use some of your hit dice to heal up a little bit if you want.
Thank you.
Also gonna heal up a little bit.
Whew, yeah, that was not great for me.
Oh my god. I'm screaming.
What did you
I
roll?
shouldn't laugh. Like I'm so sorry. Oh, but I'm glad you guys aren't dead.
Oh, we barely made it out alive. Half of our group was gonna die.
God.
So you take a rest, Cruz. You wake up. You're covered in blood, but you're alive. You're hurting, but you're
Are you
alive.
at least back at half?
Hold on, I'm adding it.
There is no way.
It was 7, 5, and 9.
Oh damn. Okay.
Nice.
Okay, hold on, let me just do it.
I rolled a 2, so
21, right?
yeah. Plus whatever the con mod is times 3, so yeah.
We're all alive at least.
Yeah.
But we're
Okay.
saying. Okay.
So what are you gonna do now? You're gonna head to try and find that tavern.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. So you can head out. You head out back to the main thoroughfare that you came through, and continue walking into this town. It doesn't take you very long before you do see a lit lantern outside of a fairly large building. And as you get closer to it, you do see that it has a hanging sign that says "Blood of the Vine Tavern."
Interesting name.
I knock on the door.
Knock on
Did
the
you
door.
knock on the bar door? I walk
Okay.
in after she.
It's
I'll
like-
just walk in.
Okay, so you knock on the door. Nobody answers the door, but then Elena just goes ahead and barges in, and it is a tavern. You see, there are people in it. There are, you see a bartender tending bar, just a kind of a balding man. You see there is a table that has 3 dark-haired women just kind of sitting around it. And you see another table that has a kind of a haggard looking, like maybe handsome if he weren't living in this place kind of person, dude sitting in this a table by himself.
Are they all alive?
Are they all skeleton?
From what you can tell, I mean, they're eating, they're drinking, they're conversing. And as you guys enter the room, a few of them kind of turn your way and just kind of glance you over. Maybe a little surprised to see unique people coming into this town.
Just gonna ask, like, out in the room, like, is there a cleric in here? Anyone with healing?
Oh no.
Please.
Oh no.
The
Oh, no.
on the table
We're fine
kind of.
right now.
I mean, to be fair, like most of us are like covered in blood.
The 3
And
women at the
garbage.
tables, at the one table, just kind of look at each other and look back at you. But you do see the man, the kind of almost handsome guy, I'm going to call him that, does kind of look up, and he just kind of, he gets up off of his chair and comes over to you, and he says, and he looks you guys over, and he's like, are you okay?
Do we look okay?
Fair enough. You definitely do not look okay. You do need some healing. There is a church. And then when he says church, the 3 women on the table just kind of put their hands in their faces, or their faces in their hands, and just like, oh no. And he's just like, what? You need a cleric. There's a priest, a cleric at the church down the street.
Does he heal?
I'm gonna.
Would he come here?
I'm gonna look at one of the.
Is he alive?
Oh, I'm gonna pat him on the head. I'm gonna
He
pat
does-
him on the head.
You're patting the guy on the head.
Yeah.
Okay, he's just kind of looking at you like, okay. It's like, yes, he's alive.
Okay.
That'll
and he
make the
does
first
heal.
person we've met here that is.
Well,
alive.
he met me. I'm Ismak.
Are you
by the way.
alive?
And make a perception check.
It's okay. He's not a ghost.
That's why you're patting him on the head. Okay.
Solid
Yeah.
16 on perception. Is he alive?
Okay. Yes, he
He's
does
like really
seem like
tall,
he's.
like half drow woman, just like
Yeah. And
just like Alina's like 6'3". She's tall.
And he's just kind of embarrassingly taking it. Like he's not trying to stop you from doing it. He's just kind of
After my
confused.
head doesn't go through, I stop. It's not like I kept going for like a minute.
Yes. But he does look alive. He's just a human guy. He's pretty pale. It looks like he just hasn't seen the sun, but he doesn't look undead per se. He looks like there is blood going through his veins at least.
I'm gonna.
Didn't catch the name.
His name is Ismark.
Okay, Mark.
Ismark, yes. And he says, and he kind of holds out his hand to whoever wants to take it, if anyone wants to. And he says, Ismark Koljanovic.
I'll grab
kind
it
of like-
firmly and shake it.
I kind of take it like this. I'm just like,
That's it for me. I'm gonna look at one of the three women on the table and be like, I just point at one of them and be like, you, why do you make that face when he mentioned the church?
The woman that you point at, she's wearing kind of a really nice, almost silk red dress. That's really kind of out of place for this kind of setting. Like, Ismark's dressed in like pretty drab colors, and here she comes in this really fancy dress, and she just kind of looks at you, and she just shakes her head, and she's just like, nobody goes to that church.
Why?
why?
What's the deal with the church?
Because of the screams coming from it.
The screams? That's a good reason.
And the cleric is mad.
And the cleric
Well, I
is,
think
hey,
It's mad.
So haunted
Is
church
this-
is a crazy cleric. That
So
sounds
is-
perfect.
so Ismark, why do you want us to go to this church, this weird church?
He said, you asked for a cleric. It's the only cleric in town. And he's not mad. He's just, well, okay, he's maybe a little mad, but he's not a bad guy.
When you say mad, like, is he just very frustrated at the world? Because I'm starting to get that point, but
No,
do you
no,
mean
more
mad?
like
Crazy.
he's a little crazy.
I'm gonna like get up in his face, like I'm pretty, like I'm not like the tallest person in the world. I'm probably, how tall is he?
He's probably about not barely 6 feet. Like he's not terrible.
Okay, so I'm still shorter than him. So I'm just gonna like get up in his face and just like look up at him, just like, who does this cleric worship?
He worships the Morning Lord.
That sounds.
Do I know what that is?
Make a religion check.
Ooh, that's good. Okay, that is a total of 20.
Okay. You do know the Morning Lord is a good deity.
Okay.
It is a person. It is the god who basically is essentially represented by the sun and the sunrise, and is generally
So-
in healing and goodness.
I want to ask Ismark if he knows what's the deal with the screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the cleric?
What he said.
He does know a little bit. He says it's complicated. You would have to talk to himself or the cleric himself to know his story, but there are screams that do come from the church,
Huh.
And
So
have
I'm
you
gonna
ever?
kinda-
but they are not him. And
There are, what, 5 people in this tavern?
yeah, there's the 3 women at the table, Ismark and the bartender.
Okay, I'm just gonna speak loudly. Anybody in this tavern? What is going on in this town?
The 3 women at the table sort of chuckle, but they kind of beckon you over and they say, "Welcome to Barovia, the cursed land."
No shit.
Yes,
Really? We've had
A
enough.
word?
yes. One of the woman in the white dress kind of stands up and finally she introduces herself, and her name is Alenka, and she introduces herself and she says, "My name is Alenka. I am the owner of this tavern. These are my
Sorry.
sisters Mirabel and Sorvia." And you see Mirabel's wearing kind of a bluish green dress, and Sorvia's more in a kind of a rich sort of deep gray with like blue, but generally really nice, pretty dresses. And they basically say, "You are travelers from from a different world, and
A
you have
different
been
world?
Yes, you are not the first to come through here. Travelers from other worlds come through all the time." and they're often shocked by the state of this place, but this is Barovia. It is a land forever cursed. And congratulations, you are stuck here now.
So we can't leave.
No, only the Vistani can leave.
The who?
Wait,
The
what was
who?
their name again?
Their names are Alenka, who's Mirabel, and Sorvia, and they are the owners. And she says, the Vistani, us, and she points to her and her sisters, and others like us. We are the only ones who can leave willingly.
Can you help us leave?
Yeah. What's the deal? Why can't you leave?
Make a history check.
Me?
Mhm.
Shit. That's 14.
14. You do have heard of Vistani before. Just very. They are known for being planar travelers. They're kind of a nomadic human race that travels to different planes. Mostly just trading, mostly merchants. But when you ask her if she can help you leave, and she says, Elenka's just like shakes her head and she says, no one dares defy the will of Strahd. If he brought you here, it is not for us to take you away.
Can we talk to Strahd? Can we like hit that guy up?
His mark just kind of goes pale when you say that.
Paler.
And he's just like, that's paler, even more paler. And he's just like, no, you don't want to talk to the devil.
I would like to actually.
We don't want to hit you. And
Like
apparently-
hell we don't.
Is he just a tiefling? I mean, racism isn't gonna help us in this situation. Tieflings are pretty great, but also
Alenka says Strahd is the Dark Lord of this land. This land is his. He is the one that seals it off from the outer world, and he will not let you go. He brought you here for a purpose.
He can suck it.
Ismark, why do you know that?
Why do you stay?
Why do we stay?
Yes.
We do business here, but we have our own reasons.
What business is there in a cursed land?
She kind of chuckles and she just says, that is for us to know. However, since you have many questions, I suggest that you talk to Madam Eva. She is the one who knows most.
Where can we find her?
There is Vistani camp outside of town, at Ser Falls. That is where you will find Madam Eva's tent.
is it safe to leave? Is it safe
Nowhere is safe in Barovia. But if you are strong and you stick together, you may survive.
I have a
Though
strength
I
of
would
8.
not travel at night. Travel only during the day. At night, it is too dangerous, even the roads.
That's advice I can take.
Yeah.
What time is it right now?
Werewolves. Oh yeah, time.
It's werewolf time.
There's not
Oh my
really
God.
you can't really tell a time of day. It's probably about midday right now. You guys,
So it's not night.
no.
Okay.
I'm
does it
gonna
look like
ask-
It's gonna be close tonight.
What'd you say?
Does it look like it's gonna be close tonight?
If you are traveling to Ser Falls, you probably would reach it. Night would probably fall about halfway there. So you'd have to make like the half of the trip in dark.
Is Ismark one of the travelers?
He does not look anything like them. No, you notice that the Vistani all have, they have sort of like brown skin and dark hair, and they all seem to have a vibrancy to them that the other people that you've seen in this town, the few that you have, do not. Ismark is pale and he's alive, but he looks lifeless.
I'm
And
gonna
same
ask,
thing goes for the bartender. From what you can tell, the bartender just looks run down and just sort of bleh.
I'm gonna ask Ismark if he was one of the people who got brought here.
Ismark tells you that no, I was born here. I was born here with my
lucky.
my father Koryan Indirovich. I live here with my father and my adopted sister Irina. And make an intelligence check. Anybody who
boy.
wants to.
Okay. Okay, nope.
Yeah, that's a 7.
I got a.
Oh no, that's a 6.
I got a 13.
I got 15 because I got no modifier.
The Jock Squad.
Okay. Alina remembers that when you first came to this land, you found a letter on a dead body. that was written by Kolyan Indirovich, and that said that his daughter Irina had been bitten by a vampire.
Ooh.
Let's take out the letter. Nobody knows this. You guys don't know shit. Who has the letter?
Who does have the letter?
I think I do.
I think, yeah, Varen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask Varen for the letter.
What? Why?
Just give me the letter. I'll take the letter. And I'll read it back to Ismark. I won't hand
Okay.
it to him. I'm gonna read it back.
Oh.
And he, as you read it, he kind of, the realization dawns on him, and he nods and he says, that was the body of Dalvan Olensky. He was my father's servant.
Yeah, he dead.
Yeah, he died.
Big dead.
I am not surprised. But he was instructed to leave that letter on the gates of Tuborovia to turn away any visitors to this land, in hopes that they would not enter.
Clearly that didn't help.
Have a choice, bud.
No.
Oh.
But as the letter says, my sister Arina was visited by Strahd twice now. I fear that he visits her again. He will turn her into one of his own.
Hold up.
The letter said she was already a vampire.
No, the letter said that she was bitten.
Oh.
It takes more than a bite to become a vampire.
So
but
wait, this Strahd fellow.
He's a vampire.
He's a bloodsucker.
he is the lord of vampires.
Hot.
yes.
All right.
What makes him? How does that elevate him? What makes him the Lord? Did he just like say it, or
At
Maybe he
this
sucks
point,
more blood than everyone else.
Or was
Alenka,
it, like,
overhearing this
purity?
conversation, just kind of sighs, and she says, why don't you guys sit down and have a drink, and we have a story to tell you.
oh,
Yeah.
that's
And she kind of gestures to the table and gestures to the bartender, who you see is almost like kind of a golem, in the sense that he doesn't seem to have any emotions. He just moves and just does her bidding, and doesn't speak. But he comes over. Do you guys sit down at a table?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
As you sit down at the table, he comes over with 4 tankards, or actually no, 4 goblets of red wine for each of you. But he doesn't look at any of you, and he does not say anything to anybody. He just kind of robotically puts it down and then goes back to his to cleaning the dishes and tending the bar. But as you sit down, Alenka, Miravar, and Sorvia they're at the table next to you, and they kind of turn their chairs to you, and they were like, "We're going to give you a history lesson on this land." So, this man named Strahd conquered Barovia about 400 years ago. He was just a human conqueror from another land, and he named it after his father, who was King Barov. He was a very, very powerful and very brutal conqueror. However, sometime after he conquered this land, he fell to the darkness. We do not know how he became a vampire, but he did. And he maintained his hold over this land. His power has continued to grow, and that is why he was able to seal this land off from other planes. And that is pretty much all they know. Yeah.
So this is Alenka talking.
This is kind of between Alenka, Mirabel, and Sorvia. They're kind of
So-
taking turns.
Okay,
Is
I'm gonna ask Alenka, like,
Mhm.
so of the other travelers that you see, I'm just gonna take a wild guess and guess that they all died.
She says, I can only assume so. They come through here, they pass through, and we never see them again.
has anyone tried to talk to Strahd?
No one goes to the castle, and those who do are fools. Much
Hey,
like
where's the castle?
She kind of points kind of out the door. The castle is to the northwest of town. But Sorvia kind of shakes her head, and she says there was a group of people who tried to overthrow Strahd not long ago. They were led by a wizard from another land. They foolishly thought that they could conquer him. But the wizard and Strahd battled, and in the end, the wizard fell. And those people who survived were all turned to Strahd's will.
Ishmar,
Question.
you said your sister gets visited by Strahd, right? Is he still there?
That's Sorvia's talking. Ismark's sister, Irina, is the one who has been visited twice.
Is he still there? Oh, sorry.
sorry, go ahead.
Irina's not here. Yeah, you don't know where Irina is. Ismark is the one.
Like is Ishmark here?
Yeah, Ismark's there. He's kind of hanging around he's still at his at an adjacent table, but he's definitely listening in and kind of present.
So this place, this demi-plane or whatever the fuck, can anyone come? Does anyone get in here without this Strahd character wanting them to?
As far as we know, no. This is his land. Those who enter by his will. Those who exit by his will alone.
Do you know why he brings people here?
At this point, Mirabelle pipes up and she says, he enjoys the chase. He gets bored. Immortality can be dull sometimes, so he brings people here to liven things up for a little bit.
Don't like that.
So we're just plaything.
Essentially, yes.
Join.
So he's just gonna, drink us when he's done with all of this mess.
Either that or kill you. Or turn you, depending on what he feels like.
Cool.
I just,
Is
I'm just shuddering like,
Are there any other dangers in this cursed land of Barovia that we should know about?
Vampires, werewolves, Strahd.
Ismark says there are plenty of dangers, as he gestures to Varen just listed. Yes, but most of the dangers are linked to Strahd himself.
Where did the werewolves come from?
He shakes his head. I don't know where, but I can
Other
only imagine.
werewolves?
And he says, "Yes, there are, and they are under his will, Strahd's will as well."
God damn it!
Starting to see a pattern here.
I swear.
So Strahd is everything. Strahd is the Lord. Everything's under Strahd's will. Everybody's here because of Strahd. Strahd is
Yeah.
Sounds like a dick.
Big Dick Strahd.
Oh God!
Strahd's got big dick energy. I'm leaving campaign.
But Ismark then says, "But they are right, or the Vasani are." He points to the three sisters. Are right when they say that you should talk to Madam Eva, and if you wish to go, I can lead you there, if you are willing to help me first.
What do you need help with, bud?
Hold up. The last people who asked us to help them ended up dead.
Yeah, they were ghosts, and we had to put their bones to rest.
I'm like 80% sure that Ismark isn't a ghost.
Yes.
I'm just gonna reach out and just like
I'll pat him again.
just like tap his face and just be like,
He's just like, "Please stop doing that."
I'm just gonna rest a hand on his shoulder.
What ghosts are you talking about? There are many ghosts in this land.
dead kids
Dead kids.
down the street.
Yeah, don't even worry about it.
It's taken care of.
It's taken care of. They're gone, hopefully.
My friends stuffed the dead kids in their bags and dumped them out in the basement.
I'm just behind her like,
They're bones. They're bones.
They just sort of drink. Everybody just sort of drinks and just kind of looks at each other. But it's just like, it's Barovia. Okay.
Just another Tuesday in Barovia.
Low charisma
like a
characters are
horror
great.
Yes. But Ismark says, there are two things I actually need help with. One, well, the main thing is my sister. Strahd has visited twice, and I fear that he will come again, and he will take her this time. I am hoping to move her from this land. This town, the village of Barovia, is too close to Castle Ravenloft. So I want to move her to one of the other towns, either Vallaki or Kresk, preferably Kresk, because it's far on the other side of Barovia, and hopefully far from Strahd.
so, question. Does your sister want to be visited by Strahd?
No. She does not remember the visits, though.
Are you sure?
Oh.
I am certain that is what she said.
That is
Can we talk to her?
He says, yes, actually, it's probably best that you come with me, because I can show you what else that I would
What is
need
your
from
second
you.
request?
And he gestures to you and he says, come with me and I will show you. It's easier this way. I will take you to my father's home. That is where Arena is, and that is where my second favor is. And actually, now that I think about it, that favor would also tie into your needs as well.
Do you need us to
Okay.
kill Strahd? Because that's
I feel
That's
like
what
that's
we
where
need.
we're going here.
He says
Oh, hold up.
he says nobody can kill Strahd.
What happens if Strahd dies? Does this place just die with him?
How would we know? Nobody kills Strahd.
well. I don't
Nobody
think he
can.
sustains the land. He just entraps it.
Yeah.
Barovia existed before him, but he has corrupted it.
He's just a bitch.
The three sisters sort of cringe when you say that, and they just kind of cover their mouths like, oh, don't say that. Don't speak ill of the Dark Lord.
He
I
sounds.
mean, don't say
he's-
whether he's a
He
bitch.
sounds. He sounds like a lil big dick bitch.
The sisters just sort of shake their heads and go back to drinking their wine.
Playing
can't
low charisma
hear
characters
us.
is so much fun.
But Ismark says, if you wish, we can go now. I can take you to my father's home and introduce you to Irina.
Can we sleep there?
Yeah. You got like
Yes.
a bed or a floor?
Yes, it is a mansion. We have many rooms.
You don't got a
Maybe
bed?
He doesn't actually have a floor. He just floats everywhere. A gaping chasm that leads into the center of whatever the fuck this earth is.
Ghost confirmed.
No,
You don't
he
have
says-
any sacrifice basements, right? That's not.
What? Sacrifice?
You don't have like a dungeon, a secret dungeon under your house or anything.
Not that I know of.
Monster.
With like giant trash mounds. That's is that a local thing?
No.
You got a trash man.
Trash man.
We're
We have
chanting.
we have a servant who takes out the trash. Is that what you mean?
No,
You bougie little shit. Okay, let's go.
So he leads you outside, and you can see at this point in the day, it's kind of midday. You can look over the town, but you do see kind of off in the distance towards the northwest, there is the kind of overcast skies, but then you do see one little peak sticking up far above, and you can imagine that is probably the peak of Castle Ravenloft.
Before we leave, I'm gonna look back at the sisters and say thank you in Russian. I'll be like spasiba, and I'll wink at them and I'll leave.
Okay, and they just kind of look at you, and just one of them kind of smiles a little bit,
Hey.
and
I
you
pay
hear
them
a call as
equally.
the door closes behind you. Good luck.
Whew.
So,
Hi, honey. Sorry.
So Ismark leads you just around the corner. Let me just double check. No, he leads you off to the left and down a far street. And as you walk, you do hear some weeping coming from one of the houses.
Oh, not again.
It's not our business.
Yeah, and Ismark just kind of shakes his head, but keeps walking. And then he leads you down to the very end of the row, and there you see a old, dilapidated mansion. It may have been a beautiful bougie place at once, but it has been beaten the shit out of. You see the heavy iron gates that close it are twisted and torn, and the right gate has been cast aside. And as you come up on the house itself, you see all along the walls, the outdoor walls, the stone and the wood has heavy claw marks all around the
Ooh.
outside of the building. None of the windows have glass. All the windows are boarded up, and there are scorch marks of fire.
Hey, Ismark, do you guys have like some werewolf problems or something?
And he hears that and shakes his head, and he's just like, "You have no idea." As they said, there's a lot that happens here. Just don't ever go out outside at night. He goes up to the main door, and he doesn't open it. He knocks very heavily against it, and there's quiet. It's quiet for a moment. He doesn't hear anything. He knocks again really hard, and then finally he hears there's a female voice that says, "Who is it?" from the other side, and he answers, "It's Ismark. I have some visitors. Please open." So the door sort of, you hear this jostling, and you hear what sounds like a heavy plank of wood being shoved off, and one of the doors sort of creaks open, and you see a very lovely dark-skinned woman with really dark red hair, kind of pokes her head out, and she sees Ismark and looks at all of you and opens the door, and Ismark leads you into the foyer. And again, the rooms around you are pretty beat up. There is just trash everywhere, and as far as like broken pieces of wood. And you see on the ground, kind of in the middle of the foyer, is a coffin with a body in it.
What?
I like go over and like look over like.
Ismark sees that and he says, "Yes, that is my second favor. That is my father, Koyan
Are you guys
Indirovich."
close?
What'd you say?
Are you guys close? I'm very sarcastic.
Well, yes, he was my father. Unfortunately, he passed just a few days ago. His heart could not take the constant attacks against our house.
Fair.
Yeah, Strahd has been trying to get at Orina for quite some time, so we have kept her here. And you see the woman is, she closes the door behind you immediately, puts the big heavy plank of wood, and you see that she's wearing armor. But it's not armor that looks like it was made to fit her. It looks like she's just wearing whatever they had lying around, and it's just a big breastplate. And up closer you can see that she does have 2 bite marks on her.
It's definitely some Bride of Frankenstein shit.
Oh yeah.
And she says to what the hell's his name? Ismark, there you go.
Almost handsome guy.
She says to Ismark, are you going to introduce me to your friends? And he introduces his sister Irina, and he says, "I'm sorry, I don't know each of your names."
Oh, Mira.
Mira, okay.
I'm Cruz, and I firmly shake her hand.
She kind of gives you a slightest hint of a smile, but not really a big one.
I look her up and down, just be like, Alina. I don't know if they're evil. She's evil. She's a vampire. What the fuck do I know?
She just kind of nods at you.
I just kind of look at her. I'm just like, Varen.
I'm sorry, what?
Varen.
Varen.
And
Well,
Barry just in the back.
Did I stutter?
it is.
Oh shit.
And she sort of just kind of blinks at you and says, I assume you're here to help with the body. I appreciate you helping us take him to the church. And she goes over
the
to
church with the screaming.
Mad Clara.
Yes, well, he's a good man. He's just, the years have been hard on him.
You guys know him?
So is
Yes,
Dad over
everyone-
here gonna be screaming too?
Screaming, no. And she kind of looks sadly down at him. No, he is gone, and he is thankfully not corrupted, but we would like to keep it that way. We must take him to hallowed ground.
Oh,
I just reach over. I'm just like awkwardly, just like, there.
there.
Cool, guys, for like
Patting
2
heads.
seconds.
She just,
Just like on our shoulder. I'm just like, there.
Just like
and she says
crossing
like,
my arms, just kind of like looking at these people, just like, I don't like this.
she looks at Ismark, just kind of like, who are these people again? And he says, yes, they will help us take him to the church and to bury him. But I asked them to help us take you to Kresk, or to Valaki, out of here. And at that point you see her kind of sigh with a little bit of relief, and she looks at you and she says, Thank you for helping me get away from this town.
No problem.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't ignore my friends, please. They don't trust you. We've had some issues with
Wait, how is
trust
she
in
gonna
this
get
town.
out of town?
Us.
At this, Ismark just kind of says, I do not blame you. This is, well, as you can tell, it's not an easy land to live in, and not everyone is trustworthy, but we do need your help, and we appreciate it anyway.
Could we leave with her?
What's that?
Could we leave with her?
Do you want to
Can-
take her to the church?
No. So, since she's leaving the town,
Yeah,
will Matt be with us?
Yeah, well, he's asking that you guys help them take her to one of the other towns, away from
Oh.
Castle Ravenloft.
So
Ah.
Barovia is not just one town. It's
No,
many towns.
Barovia is the name of the land, but it's also the name of the village. And then there's other villages. There's Valaki and there's Kresk.
And they're all like under Strahd's rule.
They're all under his oppression essentially. Yeah.
Okay, but this is like the capital.
Kind
This
of,
is
yeah.
what
This is the
they
town that is closest to Castle Ravenloft, which is where he resides.
Okay.
And would we be passing Madam Eva through this?
He says, yes, as we go down the Old Phallic Road. The Old Phallic Road goes down
The old what?
The old phallic road?
The old phallic road?
Svallic.
Big
Svallic.
Strahd.
Yes, the old Svallic Road. It's an SV sound. The old Phallic Road goes all the way through this this land, and each of the towns is along this road. But the Vistani camp is along the road, so you can.
Okay.
It would be on the way.
All right, two birds, one stone.
If there was, how are the towns like? Are they just like clustered like 1 through 2 and 3, or just like a line?
It's like the road is like a line over through this town, and the towns are along the line.
So
Okay.
So
if
you're
we're-
like here, and then there's Valaki, and then there's Crest on the opposite end of the town.
and then so like this, and like that's the castle.
Yeah, essentially.
this
So
is
if
the
you can
road,
take her as
okay.
far away, that's what she hopes for. But
So
even
is-
Valaki is good.
And the Astani camp is between this village and the next.
Yes, it's actually just outside this village.
Ismar,
Yes.
do you have any communication with these other villages, especially that far one?
Well, we can send riders, but it can be tricky. It would depend on the type of communication. We don't have any other way. Just we can send message with the Vistani, but what message would we send?
I was just curious to know if you'd like actually knew that people were still there.
Oh, well, yes. There's still trading that happens between the towns, so there are still people in these towns.
Okay.
Mostly wine, but wine is kind of the lifeblood of this place.
You have empty
That
barrel?
sounds fun.
Empty barrels? I'm
Yeah.
sure we do somewhere. What would
We
you
could
need
put
an
her in
empty
it.
barrel for? We're not putting my sister in an empty barrel. What? And Irina just kind of looks at you like you are crazy. Like, what?
Like I don't
No,
think
no,
we would
I
put
think
her.
if you could-
Are you gonna put more like dead children into like empty barrels?
no more dead children.
And she hears the dead children and she's like, are you certain we should
Be like,
test
don't
these
worry,
people?"
we didn't kill them. They were already dead.
They were already dead. We just
I
moved them.
actually saved them. So you're
You move
Okay.
past that, okay? Arina, move past that.
They possessed Varen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, spirits then.
Yeah, spirits.
There are spirits in this land. I'm sorry. But I'm glad that you are well. And she kind of looks at Varen just kind of suspiciously.
What up?
We're alive, we're very happy. When do you want to leave?
Ismark said, the sooner the better, but we should not leave now. We don't want darkness to fall on us on our way out of town. We should probably, if we could bury my father in the morning, then we can leave soon after that. The ceremony should not take long, and then we can reach the Vistani camp by dark.
Sounds good to me.
I'm gonna be like, and do you think, as I'm doing this, I'm like moving closer to Arina and just looking at her neck. Do you think Strahd's gonna visit your sister tonight?
And he says, I hope not. But I have no way of knowing for sure. But
Well,
as a vampire, he cannot enter this home uninvited.
Then
well,
who
hey, on
invited
the bright
you?
side,
Your sister.
if
She did not invite him. He attacked her when she was outside of this house. She has not left this house in weeks.
well, you know,
So
if he shows up, we can kill him, and then everyone's happy.
Okay, give Irina a gun.
What's
And
a
I get your
gun?
gun.
What is a gun?
32 point and shooter.
So
Okay.
okay, so Arina hasn't left. Like,
She was
she's been
essentially
attacked at night.
she was attacked at
Outside.
night when she was outside of the home. But since that she went. Uh-oh, baby. See, even he can sense that Strahd is near. No, since she was attacked, she has not left the house. Basically, she's barricaded herself in the house.
She
because
hasn't been attacked.
yeah, and that's
She
kind
hasn't
of
been attacked in the house. No,
yeah.
So
But,
wait.
but as you saw, the house has been attacked by what looks to be wolves and other creatures, as
So
you
he
saw from
wants
the
to get
outside.
in.
He wants to get in, but
Oh, he was
he
trying to
himself
break
and
it.
or any vampires cannot enter the house, uninvited.
Oh, nice. Thank you. What's crazy cookie dough?
I want some.
Yeah, send us some.
You gotta
Did you
share.
bring enough to share with the class?
Yeah, I'll call my mom and tell her to go over to your guys' houses.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm in Florida just in case. Just come over here real quick.
So you guys decide to stay the night in this place. He has rooms. They have beds. They have wardrobes. Everything's kind of a little old and has not been used in a while. And the windows are all boarded up on all these rooms. But there is a space for you guys to spend the night and get a long rest.
I want to talk to Ismark. It doesn't
Okay.
have to be in private,
That
but
was a
I don't know if
question.
we all just want to stand in the living room while we
Yeah.
all talk.
You guys just
Yeah.
kind of settle in and do your thing. And would you like to talk to him about?
So, okay. So you want to take your sister to the farthest village.
Yes.
Do you have supplies for this thing?
We do have some supplies. Yes.
What,
We
do
have
you have
food,
any
we have-
healing potions? Anything like that?
Healing potions, and he thinks, but he says, I don't have anything here. Perhaps the church, or
Of
maybe,
course, the church.
or more than likely, the Vistani might have something for trade. Although their prices are not cheap.
That's okay.
Well, we'll check the church since we have to go there anyway.
That's true. We can ask the priest and see if he can spare anything.
Do you have any silver by any chance?
Silver,
Money.
No.
He-
not money.
Silvering.
silver. He goes over to one of the cabinets in the drawers and pulls out a drawer that has a bunch of silverware. You mean like this? He holds up a fork. Silver.
I mean, if it
I
stabs
actually
them.
take that. I'm gonna take that.
Okay.
I'm
and
gonna,
he just
go ahead. Sorry, finish.
he just hands you the fork, and he's just like, "What are you going to do with a fork?"
Can
Oh,
I
you
get
know.
More? We
What?
might need more.
Um,
Like all your silver, not money, but like
the
then,
silverware.
I like werewolves and like silver. I read this in a book. It was
Yeah.
And
Like,
he kind of
come
gets
here,
it now, and
come
he's
here.
just like, "Oh, okay. Oh, I see what to." Okay. He
Yeah,
goes over
come
and
here.
he
Come here.
pulls out the drawer.
Give me that. I got a fork. And I just like, I don't like actually stab him, but I just like put it like directly over his heart. I'm just like, you do that, you pull back, and you hit him really hard, just like that,
Okay.
and then they die.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Get a
hopefully.
good shot.
And he pulls
can
out the drawer.
also-
He basically just pulls the whole drawer out and just holds the drawer out to you, and it's filled with. It's got like 8 pieces of each kind of silverware: spoons, forks, knives,
I'm
Do
taking
you have
it.
any weapons?
I
Do you defend yourself?
weapons. Yes, we both have swords. And you see that Arena does actually have like what looks to be a short sword kind of strapped to her side, and Ismark has one too, kind of propped up against a wall, and he keeps a little knife on him as well.
Any weapons made out of silver?
No, not weapons of silver. But he holds
Wait,
up the
yo,
fork.
guys.
But we have this.
So they rich, but like they don't have silver weapons.
guys,
I don't
what
think
if
they
we
were ready
melted
for the-
down all that silver and then just like dipped our weapons in it?
But where
Yeah,
will we
that's
melt
We
it
have
down?
a smelting.
I bet you just get some hot like heat.
Do you have a furnace?
No furnace. There has not been a blacksmith in this town for a long time.
What
Why?
about the church? Church.
I do not think there's a furnace in the church. No.
Do you think there's a furnace in this town? Do you guys just like sit in the cold? Are you guys?
Well, there's fire, but it's not fire. As far as I know, that's hot enough to melt down silver. At least not. It's just ordinary, just regular fireplace type
That's
deal. It's
okay.
not a forge.
Well, that's not very helpful, is it, Ismark?
And he just kind of holds up the fork sadly and says, "I'm sorry."
Oh, my friends are testy. We kind of faced a lot of danger, but I appreciate the silver that you have, and I just take it and I start like putting it in everyone's bag.
Yeah.
I've got my
Right.
silver short sword, so I'm good.
Okay.
Okay.
How are you dividing it up? There's like knives,
Um,
forks, and spoons.
I'll grab a
Like
knife
spoon.
or have her.
Oh.
And like when I say knives, I mean like they're butter knives. They're not sharp, but
Okay,
they've got
let
little
me
edges on
Steak
them.
knife.
These
I'm
guys
gonna
are
take like a whole
they're
handful of
but-
forks.
Forks,
Don't
okay.
they have like a bigger like silver knife, like ornamental shit? Like,
Uh,
they're- but like
Irina kind of goes over and she pulls out what looks to be like one of those the little cake thingies. Like they're kind of shaped like if you press hard enough, you could probably stab someone with this.
can I sharpen that? Like, is it like a thing that I can
Is this a
sharpen?
vegan household? Do we not have like meat knives?
Knives?
We have-
No.
And she's like, we have sharp knives, but they're not silver. But we do have sharp knives.
Well, whose fault
But you
is
said you wanted silver.
If you guys live in this cursed land with werewolves, why does nobody have silver?
Well, we didn't know it was going to be we were going to have werewolves.
Do you know if any of the
How
other
long have
towns
you
have-
had werewolves?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
And she says, this land has been cursed for a long time, but we've also been cut off from the rest of the world. All we have is what the Vistani trade us. If you are looking for silvered weapons, you would do best to talk to Vistani. They're the ones who
but
travel to
they're,
other
like-
lands. We
So
have
you
what we
let
have.
us plunder your. So you let us plunder your cutlery cabinet to just tell us go get silver weapons from somewhere else.
You said you wanted silver. Here's silver. You did.
Hey,
I just like shake a fork in his face and just like, "You're funny, kid." I just like drop the fork like down his shirt.
Poor Ismark is just confused at this point and just like, I don't understand these people.
I
but
fished
they,
the fork out and I put it back in the silverware drawer.
I'm still
I just
holding
like
on to
press
the spoons.
like I have like this handful of like 5 forks. I'm just like, here you go, just like shove them into his hand.
I keep putting them back.
So Cruz is just sitting there just like organizing the forks, except for the spoons because apparently Miera is hogging all the spoons. Okay.
This is my mom.
I just imagine like, hi.
So Miera, you have 5 spoons. Anybody else keeping any of the silverware on you?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'll take like, knives that's not gonna be useful. It's gonna be
I'll,
like,
like-
it's like roll to attack with disadvantage. You need to, it's like half a d4, whatever.
I'm gonna
So no?
rethink
I'm
and,
assuming.
and just like reach out and quickly grab a fork and just be like, thank you.
Irina just kind of looks at you and says, "You're welcome." And then she takes the drawer away from Cruz and puts it back. Aww. But she takes the drawer away from Cruz and thanks him and then puts it back in its place. Okay, so you have 1 fork and Mira has 5 spoons.
I just
Anything-
imagine like Mira with like a spoon on her nose trying to keep hey guys, look what I can do. And like another one like on her chin.
These people are so weird. So, anything else
I'm
that
gonna
you
go
would
like tell me about it.
anything else you would like to do this evening before you guys take your rest?
I also want to ask him, what was that whimpering that we came across?
Oh, the house that we passed. He says that is Mad Mary.
Is everybody here crazy?
She is always crying.
What's she crying about? Do you guys talk to her? Maybe she's crying because you guys don't talk to her. You were so impolite.
Ismark just kind of looks a little guilty and he's like, "No, I don't talk to her. She's strange."
Also, you don't talk to the Mad Mary, but you talk to the Mad Cleric.
Well, the Mad Cleric wasn't always
Yeah.
mad.
So has she always
How
been
much
mad?
time do we have in the day?
It's probably about like 6 o'clock. You do see it like getting a little dark outside.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else before you?
I'm
go
gonna
to
tell
bed?
Ismark he needs
we all
to
wanna
talk to
sleep
Mad
in,
Mary
like-
at some point.
Do you
If
all
you-
want to sleep in like different rooms or like?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, there's plenty of
We
rooms
haven't
here.
gotten to sleep in different rooms in months.
You
I'm
all,
just saying just in case, because I don't. It's the vampires and werewolves and Mad Mary and like I don't know.
You can
Oh
all have
my.
like rooms that are kind of adjacent to each other
Yeah.
down this
Sure,
hallway.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's
Literally
good.
mine's open. I'm like, slumber party.
Yeah.
Everybody else is already asleep.
Oh.
That's it.
I'll go to Mira's room.
In
I'm gonna hang out.
So
Okay.
because I think I only need like 4 hours of sleep because #elf, um, for a couple of hours after everyone else goes to sleep, I'm going to like go down and check with both Ismark and uh,
Irina.
Arina and ask them if they know at all like how well they can fight.
You're doing this how early? Because they're probably asleep as well.
Oh, like pretty much like once everyone else goes to bed.
Okay, which is before everybody goes to sleep. Ismark says, I can fight well enough. Irina is learning as well. Um, I'm probably a bit more proficient than she is, but
Can I drill them for like an hour?
sure. So you go through the motions. They both have I believe they both have long swords. Let me just double check my peoples.
You know, monks fight with long swords.
No, but see, that's part of the adorable charm that is me. Like I'm gonna kick their asses, like when they have long swords and I have nothing.
Yes.
Are you just doing this so you can feel better about yourself?
No. I'm doing this
Yeah.
because,
Yeah, they both
I'm
have
doing this because I have a soft spot and I'm bad at showing it.
yeah, or rather Ismark has a long sword, Irina has a short sword.
Okay,
So, let me write that down before I forget. Ismark.
it's compensating. No.
Ismark he can fight okay. He's not nearly to your level. He hasn't trained in a while. It's mostly out of necessity. Irina needs a little bit more practice, but she is far more determined to learn to defend herself, especially now that she has been attacked.
Yeah. So I'm gonna like brush up on their skills as much as I can,
Okay.
focusing a little bit more on her. And then once they seem like pretty worn out, I'm just gonna be like, this never happened. And I go to bed.
You go to bed,
Don't tell my friend.
and they're both just kind of sitting on the ground, just huffing and puffing, just kind of looking at each other. It's like, these people are so weird. But they both go to bed, and so you all get a full night's rest. So you are back up to your max HP, and you get all your hit dice back. As you awaken, you slept pretty well. There was no attacks against the house, as far as you know, throughout the night. You do awaken, and it's kind of strange because you awaken and there's no sounds. You don't hear birds. You don't hear any kind of really life. You hear the little shuffling with Irina kind of downstairs or whoever in the kitchen. But as far as there being like actual life around this place, you don't really hear anything.
I'm gonna go ask her if it's always like this.
And she says, pretty much, except for when the house is being attacked.
Cool.
So silence is good right now.
Fun.
We need silence.
So do you guys have like crops or whatever? Do you guys have pollinators?
She says, not so much in this town, but there are towns that do have, and there's also the vineyard. The vineyard has been able to, well, I would not say thrive, but is continued, and it still provides us with plenty of wine.
Why do you guys like wine so much? Is you guys a little
They drink
upset?
to forget what's going on.
Yeah.
And she just kind of nods to there, and just like, it is kind of the lifeblood of this town. It is the only thing that keeps us going.
You can look over to Cruz. I'm like, Cruz, if you lived here, wouldn't you drink your life away?
I know
other
all
stuff.
the vampires drink their life away, so why don't they just do it to themselves, right?
But she says, yes, she has a point. There is not much to do in Borovia except for drink. And it's the only way that we keep going.
Well,
So Ismark comes in the room, and he and Irina put the cover on the top of the
coffin.
coffin. There you go. I don't know what word I was thinking of, but it wasn't coffin.
Yes,
Like,
box.
nail this coffin shut.
No, Ismark is actually preparing to do that now.
Okay, just in case.
Yeah. So he starts to nail it shut. And Irina lets you know that we have a cart out front or out in the back that we're going to load this on, and then we will just need help pushing the cart because we do not have any horses right now. They were
So
eaten.
we're basically.
They were eaten. Cool.
Oh.
Yes, the wolves got at them the last time they attacked the house.
Okay, I was
So-
gonna say Strahd missed out on an opportunity for some awesome vampire horses.
God, can you imagine?
They were like never tire, live forever.
Vamp horses.
Oh.
Horse
Horsepires.
Yes.
spiders.
And when she kind of overhears you saying, talking about immortal horses, and she kind of pales a little bit and looks down and looks away.
Sorry.
But they lead you out to the back, and you see just what looks to be just a little cart, and they kind of push the coffin up onto it. But you guys are gonna have to help, like, hold the bars and just kind of help push the cart.
We're the pack mules.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. To the church. So you head out to the front of the village, and you go back down the road past Mad Mary's house with the constant weeping because she's still crying.
Damn. She got a
I
lot of,
pointedly
like,
look at
body.
Ismark.
Ismark does not look at you at all.
I'm gonna grab his shoulder. Like, no, wait.
Let's just take this body to the church, Mira. We'll come back for her.
It doesn't have to be now, but you should talk to her at some point, Ismark.
Okay.
And he says, if you want, on our way out of town, you can go talk to her yourself. But we need to, let's get this done.
Okay.
And so you continue on to the opposite end of the town from his house, where the church is. And
By the way, just in case, Baron, all you can see in the feed is like your forehead.
Oh my god.
Really
Oh
great.
my god.
Yeah, great. As you come up to the church, you see that the church also looks similarly attacked. The wooden doors have claw marks and are scarred by fire, and you hear a sudden inhuman scream that shouts out, "Father, I'm starving!"
Is that normal?
Ismark
sounds
just
inviting.
kind of looks at you and he says, "Yeah, it is now."
So we don't have to jump into action and go save a dumbass?
And he says,
How do
he
you
should-
save someone from starving?
He sort of shakes
Food.
his head and he says, "I'm afraid it's far too late for that one." And
boy.
as you enter the church, he pushes open the doors, and just the smell of mildew and age kind of wafts out at you. And you look inside to see a sea of broken pews. And to the far end, in front of the altar, is looks to be a person just crouched down praying.
Hello?
Hey,
Dad?
Oh.
Ismark calls out, well, actually, what was his? Let me double check his
crazy cleric.
actual title, because I think he actually has a title.
Father
Father
Russia.
Screamer.
Priest, yes. Well, actually, he's priest. So okay, so he just calls out Father Donovic, and the person in front of the altar just kind of continues to kneel there. You can see that he's kind of like doing this, rocking back and forth and praying quietly. And Ismark continues to. You guys push the cart kind of. You don't push the cart into the door, but you kind of park it right out front. And Ismark kind of calls again, Father Donovic! And again, the figure just doesn't move, just keeps rocking and praying. And he kind of looks to you guys and he says, well, we should at least I guess we don't need to bring it inside. We have to bury it out front.
I'm
But
gonna go over to
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the father
poke
too.
him.
Yeah,
with,
let's go to the
the
father.
tip of my axe.
you
Yo.
go over to the father, and as you go over to him, you hear another scream, that just absolutely inhuman, loud scream. Father, I'm starving! Except it's like a shriek, almost like Nazgul, like shriek. And you
Where's
can
it
hear
coming from?
It's coming
Yeah.
from somewhere below the floorboards. And Father
Oh,
Donovic,
God.
you hears that, and he just kind of you see him shudder, and he just keeps praying.
Hey,
And-
Father Donovic, who are you starving, bud?
And
I'm
He-
gonna be like, I think this girl is a vampire.
the girl is a vampire.
The person who's
Oh,
screaming.
okay. I thought you meant Arena. As Father Donovan kind of like looks at you very slowly, like he almost kind of wakes up for a moment and just kind of glances around, and he sees Ismark, and he kind of shakes his head at him and says, like, "Why are you here?" And he looks like he hasn't slept for ages. And Ismark tells him, "We need to bury my father. He died 3 days ago. I told you this. Do you not remember?" And Father Donovan just sort of slunches down and puts his head in his hands, and he starts to cry.
Oh.
A lot of crying going on in this town.
Just a lot of not good feelings
A
here.
lot of wailing and screaming and yeah.
Um,
we do.
I'm gonna
I'm
hug Father
I'm
Donovan.
gonna try and console him. Like it's okay.
You hug him.
I hug him.
Aw, that's so sweet. You put your giant Goliath arms around him, and he's just kind of he looks at it for a moment and just at first kind of resists, but then sort of like sinks into it, like he needs this. And he just said,
looking at Baron and just kind of looking back at
and
them.
he's just like, "The Morning Lord just has not answered any of my prayers. My dear son, I don't know what to do about him."
Your son?
Is he a vampire?
He looks
Is that
at you,
him down there?
and as you point downstairs, you hear another scream that is just like, "I'm starving!" And he just shudders and he nods. And he says, "Doru has been taken by the darkness, and I've been praying to the Morning Lord day after day since he came back from that failed attack on Castle Ravenloft. That
Stake through the heart
awful.
should fix it.
What'd you say?"
Stake through the heart should fix it.
I don't
He
think
just-
he wants us to kill
He
his son.
just looks at you like you are nuts, and he's like, "I cannot kill my son. He is my only child."
Would you rather starve him to death and be living as something that's unholy?
I was hoping that the Morning Lord would answer my prayers and rid him of this affliction.
Got to be a little more proactive than that, bud. Just a touch. I know that's your deal. You're a cleric and all. I get that. Got to be a little more proactive. Maybe like read a book. Try to look for a solution.
He holds up what's essentially like the Bible of the Morning Lord and says, "I've been reading this."
Does it have a passage on vampires?
It does not. It looks like it's just mostly just prayers, but nothing very specific to dealing with the undead.
Maybe peace is what the Morning Lord wants for your son.
And he says, "Vampires do not find peace. Their souls will be destroyed if they are killed."
Is there a visible door to the basement?
There is no door in this room, but like towards the entrance, you did see two side rooms.
I'm gonna go back and take a look at them.
Okay. You go back through the side rooms, and one of them, both of them are actually, they have little beds in them, so this is probably where they were sleeping. And you do see a trap door that is locked with a padlock.
I pull out my fork and try to pick it.
Oh my god! I'm gonna go check on.
I'm gonna
Baron.
notice that Baron's gone, and I'm gonna go like.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check on
find
Baron.
Baron.
Okay.
I'm gonna gesture for Ismark to keep the father busy, and then I'm gonna go with them.
Okay. Ismark kind of crouches down and just starts talking very lowly to the priest, and you go and find Varen just sitting there with a fork trying to jam it into this lock that is
I'm gonna,
clearly.
like, grab her and like, throw her on my shoulder. Like, no.
Are you gonna take that, Varen?
No.
Okay.
While they do that, I'm just gonna like try and like unlock it myself.
As you two are wrestling about this lock.
What is going
Hold
on
up.
here?
Oh shit, that's an acrobatics of 10. So
You guys just end up wrestling.
acrobatics.
I think athletics for you.
Athletics for me. That is a athletics. That's 18.
18?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So I guess I did take it.
So you
I'm just like, I got this.
and she's just kind of hauling you away like this, and you're just flailing. But as you do that, Mira just kind of slides in and starts. You're gonna try and pick the lock.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and make a check with your thieves' tools.
God, Alina, I want to see what's in the secret basement.
An 18. Wait,
That's 18?
plus. Yeah, 18.
No, what's in the secret basement? There's vampires. Do you want to
What
unleash
a
the
vampire?
No, I kill one.
Yes. Okay, so you see, you are able to pop the lock easily enough, and the trap door opens, and you see it just leads down into what looks to be an empty room.
I'm gonna drop
Um,
yours
and as you open the door,
Thank
the
you.
screaming stops.
and just say, Mayra,
Oh.
what
Oh,
are you doing?
I thought
I'm gonna jump down. I'm gonna go down.
You're gonna go down.
I'm gonna
I'm
try
gonna,
to like.
I thought I had to hang out this adventure thing.
I'm gonna grab
try
one
to
of my
shut
darts.
it before anybody tries to go in it. Like, just sit on it.
I'm gonna grab one of my darts and I'm gonna break the middle tip off of it so it's just wood. I'm gonna
Okay.
like stick it in
I'm
my
gonna
back
sit
pocket.
on it before
Okay.
anybody gets on there in there.
So you slam it shut and sit on it, and then what?
Yes.
I'm gonna move her.
No.
Yeah, make
I'm
a
gonna
strength.
move Alita.
I'm gonna be like, wait.
I got a 22.
So as you're saying,
Let
wait,
me try.
go ahead and try.
I just want to talk to his son.
No.
Wait, and then Cruz just kind of rodges down and just lifts you up and just sets you to the side.
We're not
Alina, I'm so
anything.
sorry. I thought that's what we were supposed to do.
No. Where
Okay.
did you think that unlocking a vampire was a good thing to do?
Oh,
So
do
I
you
I'm
think
good
it's-
at unlocking doors? Oh, I'm sorry. And then I like.
I'm gonna like open the door just a crack and be like, hello? No. Hello?
Yo,
You hear no response.
I'm gonna go down there.
Okay,
I'm a
so
follow.
Cruz immediately goes down and make a perception check.
Oh, not
Boy.
doing
Stay like in the. I'm gonna stay like in like the opening
22.
Nice.
with
That
my axe ready.
8.
Okay. Cruz, your eyes are still adjusting to the dark, but Varen, you do see in the far corner is a crouched figure that is shuddering, and it says, "Go away, I can smell your blood."
Yeah. Like,
Is it restrained?
It is not restrained, but
Okay.
it is huddled in the corner.
What's your name?
Fuck. Well, fuck.
What's wrong?
And he says,
I'm not there. I'm
"Go away. I don't want to kill you."
Can we
That's
hear
so
the
sweet. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, he's screaming, so you can
Okay.
hear him.
Fuck.
We'll be back.
Everything's good down
And
there.
I just like grab Cruz's hand and I'm just like, alright, let's go.
You both
After
leave.
they all come back,
Yeah.
I'm shutting like the hatch. Like,
Okay, you shut the hatch, and do you lock it back up, or are you gonna?
yes, I'm gonna lock it. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
what did you find?
We found a guy,
Uh huh.
a friend. Don't worry about it. It was Barbara Streisand.
Can I go back to Ismark and ask him, are there any animals around? Like, do animals exist here?
Ismark says, well, there are ravens. There are wolves.
Like
Of the were variety.
Are there deer?
There are sometimes deer, but they're becoming fewer and fewer.
But they're like regular deer, right? They're like cool.
I just wonder if there's any way for animal life to sustain what's down there.
And he thinks about this like it's possible we could see if we could find a deer or a wolf or a horse.
Is the
I'm
father
like-
still praying?
Varen, why do you
The
want
father has
down there?
he's sitting with Ismark right now.
He
He has stopped crying and is just sort of just quietly sitting next to him.
he's not a monster yet.
What do you think drinking blood's going to make him?
He doesn't want to drink blood.
He doesn't want to drink human blood.
None of us are human, so.
I'm gonna go see if I can get just some animal, see if that will help sate him.
Varen, this is not our problem.
But Alina.
But it-
At this point, you see Ismark and the priest lead the priest over to you, and he says, "Father Donovan will perform the ceremony. We there is a plot out back, and we will need you to help us move the body over there." And he leads the father out to the front of the doors to where you left the coffin. You guys gonna help him?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So listen, guys, how about this? Give me until y'all finish this to find an animal and bring it down to him.
I don't think you should go alone.
Yeah.
Look,
I'll go with you.
If you guys are set on this, just throw it down the stairs. You don't have to go with it. What do you think he's going to do when he's not satisfied with an animal?
Well, we'll see. But I think the animal will buy me at least a few seconds to get out.
And I got spoons.
I'm fast. I'm roughly 50% faster than all of you.
Sure.
I'm gonna go look for an animal while they deal with the body.
Okay. So
I'm gonna go with Baron.
I'm gonna go hunting.
okay. So who's going to be helping with the body then? Just
I'll help with the
We'll be
body.
helping with the body.
okay. So you two.
Wait, who's doing that? What? Wait.
You and
Raise
me
your
helping with
hand
the
if
Varen and
you're...
Mira.
Yeah.
So
You-
Varen and
so-
Mira are going.
Baron and Mira are going hunting.
Yeah.
Dex is going hunting, strength is going burying.
Essentially, yes. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll
So
go with Cruz to bury then.
okay. So Cruz and Alina, you help him lift the coffin and put it in the plot. And when Mira and Varen take off, Ismar kind of looks at them and just says to you guys, "Where are they going?"
Oh, you know, girl stuff.
They come back covered in
Now he,
girl
oh my god, now he thinks we're gonna bang.
Your audio's being crazy. At least for me, for some reason. I don't know what it is about my audio. My audio is just terrible all the time. So where are you two gonna go hunting at? You are where you are at the church is it's not far from the edge of the village.
Is there a forest? There is a
Just
forest.
scream out like behind them. Like,
There's
we're
forest.
not in the creepy woods with the sentient fog.
What did you say?
I screamed out at them like, "Good luck in the creepy wood with the sentient fog."
Can I see if I can find any deer tracks?
Hang on one second. You guys are cutting
sorry.
out on me again. Let me just swipe this real quick and see. Talk again.
Can I try and find
There we
deer
go.
tracks?
Yes, go ahead and make a survival check.
All right. 22.
22. You do see, after going a little further, a little a ways into the wood, you're not going so far that you lose sight of the village. But you go a little ways, and you do notice that the mist sort of clings to the trees in the woods. But you do see some faint deer tracks, though you can't really tell how old they are at this point.
Okay. Hey, Mira. Check those out. Want to follow those?
Yeah. Let's follow it.
We follow
I
them.
never went hunting before, to be honest, but I'll
You
follow
fo-
your lead.
Okay, you follow the tracks. You follow for about 20 minutes or so when you come across what looks to be a deer corpse that has been partially eaten.
How fresh does it look?
Yeah.
It looks like it's been down for a few hours.
That should work.
Are there like other deer prints near it?
Good
As far as
question.
like other creatures, no. You do find prints, but they're not deer.
What do they look like?
They look like wolves.
Okay.
Uh,
Do the prints look fresh?
yeah.
The prints are about the same age as the body. You
Okay,
think
the
that
wolves
the
are long
wolves?
gone.
Yeah.
You want to try this?
Yeah. I'm gonna poke like the body to see if like any blood like squirts out.
No blood squirts out. I mean, it's still technically bleeding.
But there is
Okay.
okay. All right. So we'll carry it together, and on the way back, I'll just keep an eye out for live deer.
Okay. So you're just hauling this bloody deer carcass, half deer. It's like half a deer. It's like they ate the butt of the deer, so it's just like the head and the front part.
Ugh.
But you're just like, you have it like a backpack over your shoulder, and you're just
Yeah.
walking with this just entrails just kind of dragging behind you.
I'm just gonna keep an
guys-
eye out for like live deer.
Okay, make a perception check.
Hey, live deer, check me out.
That's 17.
17. You do hear some rustling kind of off, not far from you, but you don't know what kind of creature it is.
Here, hold this for a second. I just like it for the.
I'm like,
Just throw it.
And-
Hold this.
And I'm just gonna like pull out my crossbow and just like sneak over there in the
Okay.
direction.
Make a stealth check.
Wow, that's shit. 13.
13. You sneak a little bit, but it's not enough to not be detected, and you hear the rustling and you hear something just kind of dart off.
does it sound big?
I'm gonna shoot in the direction of it.
Okay, make an attack with disadvantage.
All right. Shit.
Maybe you.
No, it's an 8.
It's an 8. Yeah, you shoot
Yep.
off. You do hit one of the trees without difficulty, but whatever it was just darted off.
Cool. I'll retrieve the dart and return to Mida.
Okay. So you guys
Or
head back.
yeah.
Yeah, you head back to the church with half a deer. And
All
at
right,
this
you ready?
point, the ceremony has already concluded. You guys have laid the Kolyan Dirovich to rest. The priest said a few words over his body, though he was very lackluster in his performance. Clearly, just not in the mood for it. But you guys helped cover the coffin in earth, and their father has been laid to rest in hallowed ground, and you are done. And as they finish paying their rights or paying their respects, Ismark turns to you and says, "When your friends return, we can go travel to the Vistani village."
Cool.
Cool. Where the fuck are they?
And at this point, Varen and Mieta kind of wander back in, and Varen's just got a half a bloody deer hanging across her
Where
shoulders.
is Father Donovic?
At this point, you guys are back in the church, and he's just sort of sitting in one of the half-broken pews, just not really talking to anybody, just kind of despairing.
Hey, Cruz, you wanna open this door for me?
The door? Yeah, I'll open the door for her.
I'm just gonna run down. I'm just gonna go down. I'm just like, hello.
You hear nothing.
I
Laugh again.
I brought you. I don't know if it'll help, but I just like do my best to like toss the deer over toward that corner.
Okay. And you see, as you toss the deer, it's almost faster than you can see, but he's on it. And just, you hear snarling, and you hear just slurping, and he's on it.
I want to be like in the opening of the hatch, just in case. And
Okay.
I'm just going to quietly just like back away, and like make my way back up the hatch.
Okay. And you make it out okay. He's clearly preoccupied with just getting some blood in him.
I'm gonna lock the hatch, like once.
You lock it back up with the padlock.
Are you
No.
happy now?
I'm just like, I wanted to help him.
It's not that problem.
Do we
Good
want to
job,
wait and
Baron.
see if it helped? Do we want to wait and see if it actually helped, or do we want to hightail it out of here?
And you can see Ismark and Irina are kind of near the entrance, and they're just kind of waiting on you guys.
Let's go.
Okay.
All right.
And I tell the father, I know you, and I point at him. Look, your son is still your responsibility. I don't give a damn. I said it. Damn. What your Lord, what your God says. You should still try and take care of him. We just gave him a body, animal, just something. And maybe if your God doesn't want your son, maybe you need a new God. Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, Ida, are you drunk?
I
He's-
kissed the
No.
She's been drinking a lot of wine. The priest barely acknowledges you and just keeps kind of staring off into the distance.
I kissed the father so
like-
sweetly on the forehead.
Aww.
I'm gonna take my crossbow and like 10 of my darts. I'm just gonna like put it like next to the father and just like just go find something alive that he can, something fresher. And I just like walk out.
Okay. You guys exit and
I see this, I'm just like roll my eyes and just leave.
So my crossbow is #gone.
but that was a very kind gesture.
Yes, it was.
And Ismark sees this and he just sort of nods to you with respect. And you exit the church. And he leads you down the street back to kind of the main area, where main crossroads.
Wait,
Yes?
before we leave, can I ask the cleric if he has any health potions?
Yes.
Oh my god.
So you barge back into the church, rush up to this sad, despairing, and you see that he has taken the crossbow and he's kind of just holding it and just looking at it. And what do
I
you say
feel
to
a
him?
little sad for him.
And what do you say to him?
Or like, I'm gonna be like nicer to him than I was to Varen.
Okay, fair enough.
Be like, I'm sorry to bother you again, but we're going to be doing a dangerous journey, and I was wondering if you had any health potions. Just that.
He doesn't answer you for a moment, but he says, eventually he looks up at you and says, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I have nothing. And he just kind of goes back and stares at his crossbow.
I'm just gonna pat him on the back. Thank you.
This poor priest.
Bye. I'll leave.
Yep. Thank you. Okay, bye. All right. So Ismark leads you back to the crossroads, past the inn. You still hear the weeping coming from Mad Mary's townhouse. Ismark starts to kind of lead you just back along the main road, not acknowledging it at all. And you exit the village. And you travel along the Sphalic Road. Let me find my map. Where? The Sphalic Road. Yes, the Phallic Road. The old Sphalic Road. For a few hours. Where are my maps? Hang on, let me find my map. There it is. Okay, we are down there. Okay, so you travel along the winding road through the woods. You don't hear much sign of life, but you do see a few ravens just kind of cawing and disappearing off in the trees every so often. And it's kind of it's like late morning, almost noon at this point, and you reach a crossroads that has, it splits off into two roads, and at the center of that split is an old wooden gallows that has just a wooden structure with a hanging rope from it. And behind it, you see what look to be graves. 11 graves with blank gravestones sitting behind it. And there's a signpost that points in one direction back towards the village where you came, and then another one points to Sarah Falls, or Sarah Pool, and the other one points to Ravenloft and Vallaki.
I'm gonna ask Ismark if he knows what those gravestones are about.
And he says, this was an old place where people were hung for various crimes. It has not been used in a long time.
And we're going where?
You're going. Ultimately, you want to go to Vallaki, but you did want to stop at the Vistani camp first.
Yeah.
And he points to the sign that goes to the other direction. He says, the Vistani camp is not far from here, down this road.
Is it Vistani or Astani?
Vistani with a V.
Donnie, yeah.
Vistani.
Okay, I thought it was Astani.
Vistani. And so he points to the northwest road. It's kind of the opposite road from the one that would take you to Valaki, but he says the camp is not far from here, and we can come back and go the other direction after we've spent some time there.
All right,
Who
let's
knows?
hit
They
it.
may have health potions.
Is there anywhere to rest between, like, after we leave the Vastani camp from?
It will be a full day's journey to get to Valaki. You do not want to rest here. We are too close to the castle.
Okay.
We'll just go
Okay.
then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
I want to stop by the Vastani camp.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he leads you off. As you pass, everybody make a perception check.
Yikes.
I
14.
got a 4.
I got
got-
a 11.
I got a good 7. A 7.
Who got a 14?
8, actually.
Baron? Okay. As you pass the gallows, there you hear a creaking of rope behind you.
I spin.
You spin,
With like
And-
fists up.
and you guys are like a few hundred feet away, and from what you can see, Varen, you see hanging from the gallows yourself.
Ooh.
I like blink for a second.
And it's gone.
So I noticed
Sorry.
Barry stopped walking with us.
After a moment, you notice that Varen has paused.
I'm gonna
Oh.
snap in front of her face like,
Sorry, I thought I saw something.
What did you
Are
see?
you okay?
anything interesting?
I don't know. We'll see if it happens again.
Well, if it happens again, you let us know, okay?
Yeah.
Forms
Cross my
that
heart hope to well. Yeah. Let's keep going.
All right, we keep
Okay.
moving.
So eventually, at about midday, you make it to the Vistani camp. You see that Sarah pool is like it's kind of a pool of water underneath a waterfall, like a little lake. And you see there are 5 colorful tents that are pitched in a ring outside of 4 barrel-topped wagons. And near the shore of the lake is a very large tent. And right next to that tent, there are 8 unbridled draft horses that are drinking from the river. And you see there's about like a dozen Vistani that are just kind of hanging around the camp. There's a big campfire in the middle, and they're just kind of sitting around drinking. Some of them are very, very clearly drunk, and just chatting and talking to people. And as you enter the camp, a couple of them kind of look over at you. And one of them looks over at Ismark, and he goes up and explains that they are here to speak to Madam Eva. And Vistani kind of nods kind of knowingly, like, yeah, why else would you be here? And he points over to the large tent at the river.
Guess we go
I'm
in.
gonna go.
Yeah, we go there.
Okay. You guys go over to the big tent. Do you enter?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You enter the tent, and there sits an old woman who looks like she has been like hard drinking her entire life.
Same.
She is smoking a really long, thin pipe, and she has kind of a small round table in front of her. There's a chair that she is sitting on that's almost like a throne. It's got like a weird kind of rug thrown over it. And there's a stool on the opposite end, and she kind of leans back in her throne and looks at you, takes a puff and looks at you, and she says, "It's about time you guys showed up. I've been waiting for you. Sit down."
I'm gonna.
Oh.
I sit down and I say, "How are you
Yeah,
doing?"
like
I like her.
And now you notice that she says sit down, but there's only one stool in front of her. And
I'm just gonna sit on the ground.
okay,
Yeah, no, I don't care. I'll sit anywhere.
I'll
you guys
stand.
kind of plop
Let's
down.
fight for it.
Okay, so a couple of you plop down on the ground, Varen, you stand, and she just kind of looks at you and she says, "Well, no doubt you already know where you are.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you know?"
Strahd is a
Vampire.
vampire. He has cursed the land. Nobody comes in or out unless he wants him to. I'll accept you guys.
And we're here for a reason.
Yeah,
We don't know what
she-
reason.
And she
Apparently
nods
we're
and she says,
playthings.
clearly
We
my
came down
people
the
have been
phallic
doing
road
the,
to see you.
She says, clearly my people have been doing their jobs then. Good. She looks at all of you and she says, do you know who I am?
Madam
Madam
Ava.
Madam
Madam
Eva.
Eva?
And she's like, is that all?
That's all.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
What have they
All we
told you
know
about
is
me?
that you might have answers to our questions.
And and she looks at you and she says, I may have answers, not always to your questions, but I have answers. And you see on that she pulls out a deck of cards and she lays them on the table in front of you. And she says, the enemy that controls this land is a dark and powerful being, manipulative and cruel. He was once a great man who has since lost his soul to evil. His power stretches and engulfs this land as a mist that traps anyone who enters Barovia. Only the Vistani, and she kind of gestures to herself and to the people outside, are exempt from his influence, but that may not be the case forever. For as the years pass, he grows ever stronger. I fear he seeks a way to escape this land and conquer the world beyond. And that must not be allowed to happen.
Wait.
He's trapped here?
So this realm isn't his doing?
The curse upon it is his doing. However, he is also bound to this land. By the blood that he has spilled, and by the pact that he has made with the dark powers beyond.
I have a pact.
And she kind of looks at you and she says, I know. And she says, you have been brought here by his will, but you may also be his undoing. If Strahd is defeated, this land will be free from his curse, and those who wish it will be able to leave Barovia.
Why would he bring us here just to kill him?
Because he is arrogant and he is bored. Strahd
wants
often brings
challenge.
adventurers here to challenge him, to keep in his interest, but he does not believe anyone can defeat him. But I know that there is always a way. And at this point, she kind of looks at each of you, and you see, like, despite the fact that she is just, her face is very well-aged and wrinkled, her eyes are very sharp. And as she looks at each of you, it's almost like she's looking into your soul. And she stops at Varen. And she looks at you, and she gestures to the chair in front of her. And she says, sit.
I narrow my eyes, but I sit.
Okay.
Pat the chair, like, I made it warm for you.
And she picks up her deck of cards, and she begins to shuffle. And she says, I see that you are one who has known pain quite intimately, both physical and mental. Although you have escaped suffering, you are now charged with aiding the people of this land to escape their own suffering now. And she spreads the cards down on the table in front of you and says, draw a card to learn what it is you must do to help them. So now I want you to pick a number between 1 and 40.
Jesus.
That's a lot of numbers.
There's 40 cards in this deck.
27.
27. Okay. Oh, I gotta bring out my book because I gotta see what these cards actually mean. Hang on. Alright.
I'm just gonna peer over the table like,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18,
Eva, how
19,
tall are
20,
you?
Completely
How
21,
tall
unconcerned.
are
22,
you?
23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay.
Mira?
Yeah.
oh, like 5'2".
Oh, you're short.
Alright. So, we are... You drew the soldier.
Ooh.
That's appropriate. Wow. Okay. Holy shit.
Okay. And she says, this card tells of history, of a tome that holds the secrets of the enemy, the tome of Strahd. Find it and its secrets, and the secrets it holds will help you better understand your enemy and strategize against him. And you chose the soldier, so that is 3 of swords. And she says, go to the mountains, climb the white tower guarded by golden knights. I gotta write all this down before I forget. Um, uh,
Do I know what? Actually, there's no way I would possibly know what tower she's talking about because I don't know what this place is.
yeah, no, you have no idea what she's referring to. But after she says that, she kind of gives you a moment to kind of take it in, and then she sort of does this and
I
kind
get
of
up.
shoos you away. Next, she looks around at each of you, and she pauses on Mira. And she gestures for you to sit down.
Okay. And I just like get up and like sit on the chair.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh.
And she looks at you, and you see she looks at you quietly for a moment, then a small smile kind of spreads across her face. And she says, and it's weird because it's almost like her face is designed not to smile, like she hasn't smiled in a long time, but you see it kind of crease, and a smile shows up, and she says to you, "Child of the divine, your blessed light will be a much needed boon in this dark place. I know of a relic of holy power that only one of faith or true radiance can wield against the dark. This may be the key to weakening the devil's power. Draw a card and it will lead you to it." And again, she shuffles the deck and spreads the cards before you. So now I want you to pick a number between 1 and 39.
13. That's my favorite
13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And you chose the wizard.
number. Ooh.
And she says, "This card tells of a powerful force for good and protection, the holy symbol of raven kind." And you will be able to find that here it is. She says, "Look for a wizard's tower on a lake. Let the wizard's name and servant guide you to that which you seek." And you write that down. Holy symbol. And then after that, she sort of shoos you away as well, as if she's told you all that she's willing to tell you.
Okay. Thank you. Like my card.
And she sort of smiles softly again. Next, she gestures to Alina, and she has you sit down. And she says to you, "You are a strong one. Strong enough to resist the effects of Strahd's influence, perhaps? Resiliency, both physical and mental, will be essential to your survival in this dark place. Draw a card and see what the fates have in store for you." So now you pick a number between 1 and 38.
6.
6? Okay.
I like
2,
that.
3, 4, 5, 6. All right. You chose the guild member. And she says, this is a card of power and strength. It tells of a weapon of vengeance, a sword made of sunlight. And let's see, this is coins. Okay. She says, "I see a dark room full of bottles. It is the tomb of a guild member." Yeah.
Okay. Any other things about where am I?
She says, "I see a dark room full of bottles. It is the tomb of a guild member."
Just repeat yourself. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. She doesn't really say anything else.
Okay.
Anything else to you? Yeah.
Okay. Oh. Okay. I'll stop.
All right. And then she again shoos you away. And next, she gestures to Cruz.
I sit on the stool.
Okay. And she looks at you, and again she gives another small smile to you. And she says, "Old warrior, tried and true. None here know more about hunting the undead than you. Your courage and expertise will be needed in the coming days. However, if you are to defeat Strahd, you will need allies within this land, people who know the lands of Barovia and can guide you around his dangers. Draw a card, and it will lead you to someone who can aid in your quest." So now pick a number between 1 and 14.
14? Okay, 7.
7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You pick the artifact.
Ooh.
It.
And the artifact, let's see. Here it is. She says, "Look for an entertaining man with a monkey. This man is more than he seems."
Interesting.
All right. Thank you, Ava.
And then finally, she gestures for you to leave the seat and looks to all of you. And she says, "You now all know what you need to do to defeat Strahd. This final card will lead you to him." So I'm going to draw this card, and I'm just going to do a random card. And I drew, the Executioner.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
No shit. Oh my god.
so fun. And the ones
And
like Ashley, delicious.
where is the... Okay. And she says, "I see a dark figure on a balcony, looking down upon this tortured land with a twisted smile."
Gotta be Strahd.
I'll write that down.
And like, I got some big shit like a dark room full of bottles.
It's a
At
guild
least-
members too.
We're actually looking for a giant white tower.
I gotta find a man with a monkey.
A man with a monkey is willing to stand out at least.
You're not wrong. That was kind of fake.
Dark room. I'm gonna look in every room.
Uh-huh. Do you have bottles here?
Any bottles? Everybody know a guild member?
At this point, she kind of sits back and she says, "I will allow you to ask one more question before you leave. Question or request?"
One of us should ask for a health potion.
I'm gonna step forward.
Mm-hmm.
How do I word this? Am I safe from my past here?
She looks at you for a moment and she says, "For now, there is nothing else that can enter this land without Strahd's doing, and I doubt he cares that much about your past. But once you leave this place, anything can happen."
Thank you.
And she looks to everyone else. Yes?
I'm gonna ask, is there anything else you can tell me of where to find this weapon? A town, a house, a bar, any name.
And she says, "You have what I have given you. But there are people in this land who may know more. Seek them out."
I'll ask her if she has any advice, anything else that she'd like us to keep in mind.
She will say, "You can trust the ravens, but do not trust anything else."
Can I insight that?
Go ahead.
Nope. I can't. It's a 5.
You trust
I'll try and insight it.
Okay.
All right. That is delicious. That's a 16.
Nice. She seems sincere, but she's unwilling to reveal more.
All right.
And she looks at Mieta. Do you have anything?
I can't think of any. Can I hug you?
Aww. What
she
kind
looks-
of Gimli bullshit is this?
She looks at you and kind of only just kind of stares for a moment, and she says, "Only you." And she just kind of gives you a
Okay.
grandmotherly hug.
Yeah. And then I thank you, and then okay, we can go now.
I'm just
Okay.
gonna nod to her like like a comrade, like
Okay. And that is where we will end this session.
Oh my god.
That was
so
cool.
stressed.
That's wild.
But that was good. I'm glad we finally got to Madam Eva. I was so excited. I've been
Dang,
wanting
that
to
was
use these
awesome.
cards for a while.
Also, Silani, I just noticed that my backstory is not on my character sheet.
Oh yeah, that's right. It didn't show
Oh,
up
shit.
for some reason. I don't know why.
I'll put it up.
Okay.
I'll have to find the
Is
document.
mine's up? I think it.
I think it is.
Okay.
I kind of remember.
I'm looking right at mine.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us for episode 3. You guys didn't have to fight anything.
Wow,
didn't have
Baron
to-
has a heart.
Yes, this is actually
Yeah.
very, very touching, touching little
Aaron is a softie.
episode.
There is a what?
A soft.
A softie.
We
All
know
right,
your
and then
secret.
we will see you all next week.
Bye,
Same
y'all.
time, same channel.
Bye.
And go ahead and where's my stuff? There it is. I know how to do things.